Hey everybody, while you're reading the problem, I'm going to write down the justification for this result. Well, famous result called Vieta's. We have a parabola or a quadratic form that has two specified zeros or roots, which are the intersection points, the line and the parabola. Now let me write this down and we'll dive into the problem. Hopefully you can read the problem just fine while I'm doing this. Now again, we're given a line that intersects the graph of y equals x squared. Now that determines a line segment, which isn't hard to visualize. And the only concrete number we're given here is the midpoint of that line segment, which is 7,82. Okay, but it turns out that's enough to work with. Now when you expand this out, I just arbitrarily specified c and d as the two roots. Okay, so when you expand this out, and this is something you can always do. You don't have to necessarily memorize what they call Vietas. For the second degree, it's very easy to expand this out. You would get minus the sum c plus d times x. All right, and then the minuses cancel, and you get just cd plus cd is equal to 0. So the product of the roots appear at the end, and the minus the sum of the roots is the coefficient of the x term. So it's equal to 0. Okay? Now, this, of course, is important because this represents how to find the intersection. We know the graph and the line intersect, so we actually equate the two y coordinates is where this came from. We equate y equals x squared, and we equate y is equal to mx plus b, and we get this, okay? So this is the form, and it has c and d as roots, but another way to express that is, as I've written it below, by this expanded form, okay? Now, what we effectively do right here, you see, is we can just equate this minus c plus d with the minus m. And I say by Vieta, a lot of people memorize that, but this is the reason why. The two minus signs go away, and so we get c plus d is equal to m. Again, here's negative m, and then here's minus c plus d. They have to equal to each other, so c plus d is equal to m. Now also, understand that c plus d represents the x coordinates of the points of intersection. And so since we have a midpoint here, we can write down c plus d over 2. Remember, the midpoint formula is just the average of each of the coordinates, right? So if we add c plus d and divide by 2, we get 7, which is a point, the x coordinate of the midpoint, okay? So that immediately implies that c plus d or m is equal to 14, okay? Now, in a similar fashion, we know that cd is equal to minus b. Again, right here, from here to here, you just equate these two things, right? cd is equal to negative b. We're just equating coefficients, if you want to call it that, okay? Now, and also in the very same fashion, the y coordinates of the midpoint are going to be in this form, okay? C squared plus d squared. C squared plus d squared over 2 gives you 82, which is the y coordinate of the midpoint, all right? Now, so that, it follows very quickly here that all this, you multiply by 2, you get this. Now notice when you expand this out and subtract 2cd, you actually get c squared plus d squared, okay? But we just learned that c plus d is equal to 14. So right here we can write down 164. Okay, 164 is equal to 14 squared. 14 squared is 196, okay? Now, b is equal to minus cd. b is equal to minus cd, so we get plus 2b right here. Kind of nice, isn't it, folks? Plus 2b. Again, negative b is equal to cd. That's also a result of Vieta's, but we can just directly inspect this work right here. All right, so b is equal to minus cd. That makes this turn into this, right? Okay, so what does all this end up being, folks? This is 196. Now, if you take, I think you get minus 32, right? 14 is 196. And 196 minus 164 is 32, so you would have minus 32 equals to 2b. And you guys may want to check the arithmetic. I think I got it right. Okay, and that certainly intimates that minus 16 is equal to b. All right, folks, so we have, remember we were trying to find just the equation of this line, m and b, and so we've learned m is 14, okay, and b is negative 16. B is negative 16. And so you can graph this and actually see that this makes some sense with respect to this midpoint if you want to graph, do a hand sketch of this. So in other words, we're saying that y is equal to 14x minus 16. And this was something that was presented as a problem in the Harvard MIT high school math tournament, I think. And they wanted you to sum up the two values. So if you sum the two values, you would get negative 2. But I just said find the line. But again, you may want to double check this number down here. I think I got it right. Negative 16 is equal to b. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one.